boys and girls. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. Now find yourself a seat at their table.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. I'm PJ.
And I'm Mike.
And we're getting ready for my favorite holiday of the year, which is Thanksgiving. So,
wow, I
yeah,
didn't realize it was your favorite holiday.
It's my favorite holiday. I love Christmas and the whole Christmas season.
Yep.
And that kicks off with Thanksgiving. But I love me some Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't know if it's all the food, really. I
find it probably besides maybe Easter, if you celebrate that, it's just relaxing. You know, there's no like a sense of pandemonium, or I guess there's pressure in terms of like making sure you cook the turkey right and all that. But I find it the most relaxing. Mostly everyone's off. There's no traffic. It's really emphasis just hanging out. You know, not presents or anything.
Get to watch some football, which is always nice. I always watch the parade. I know we had an episode about last year about the parade. We could go back and listen to that. I wind up watching it every year, even though I don't want to. The dog show is on.
Yes.
There's just a lot of it's just an easy, chill holiday for me. You know, it's great. The store's closed. I don't have regular work. I got nothing going on. I can sit in my pajamas for most of the day until it's time to eat. It's my favorite holiday. So I'm excited to be in this time of the year. Maybe it's my favorite holiday because my birthday is in November. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be. It could be the reason. But I will say this year for Thanksgiving, just a warning to all the folks out there: don't eat the carrots. I don't know if you've heard about this.
No, I've not heard about this.
There is a recall. There's a recall on carrots.
What?
Yes. The brands were Good and Gather, which is the Target brand.
Right.
365, which I think is the Whole Foods brand. Trader Joe's, Wegmans, and there were one or two other brands that people have heard of. I just don't remember what they are.
Right.
There's E. coli in the carrots.
Oh my God.
This is happening so much lately. It's almost worrisome. Like, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? If you ate McDonald's, if you got like a double quarter pounder, you were shitting for a month, right? That was a thing. And at first, I'm like, well, I mean, was something wrong with the meat, or did you just eat McDonald's? It could have gone either way. But apparently there was some sort of bacteria there.
I got food poisoning one time from McDonald's, I think in 2009, 2010. Was
it the lettuce thing? Because lettuce is always...
I don't know. All I remember is I got McDonald's, and dude, I haven't had it since, man. I haven't had McDonald's since then. I can't... Yeah, that was the last time. Whatever, how long that is.
So yeah, this food pandemic, I don't know. It seems like every month.
But how does I know there's cross-contamination, but what are you making? You're just making carrots. It just goes through some kind of thing that.
And these weren't even carrots that they canned. These were actual fresh.
Yeah,
carrots.
I feel like they're baby carrots for some reason when you're telling this.
No, these were actual just carrots. So, but they use carrots for all carrot products: canned carrots, fresh carrots, whole carrots, baby carrots, all these carrots. So I don't eat the carrots because you're gonna shit your pants if you eat the carrots on Thanksgiving. So leave that out. Stick with the sweet potatoes. So far, those are okay. But I mean, it wasn't so long ago. There was a tomato thing.
Yes.
I mean, there was something else also that was pretty recent where people were eating stuff and shitting their pants. I don't.
Yeah, wasn't it it was lettuce? It was a certain type of
lettuce, tomatoes, carrot. It's all the healthy food except for the McDonald's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Except for the McDonald's, exactly.
Except for the McDonald's, it seems like the healthy foods. Wasn't there a Taco Bell thing, or that might have just been Taco Bell?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone listening. We hope you enjoy your holiday. Please stay away from the carrots. Because you're gonna have a rough holiday. But outside of that, what we're really here to talk about today are some movies that we like to watch on Thanksgiving.
Yep, Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day movies and entertainment. So we both prepared a list. There might be some crossover. I would possibly, with some of the ones I picked, are pretty common, I think.
Yep.
So we're just going to go back and forth with some of our favorite Thanksgiving movies, and maybe you'll listen, maybe you'll watch some of these movies, and it'll become a Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah.
So you want to go with your first movie?
Well, actually, I want to start, PJ, with a childhood memory.
Oh, okay.
Because what movie do you remember watching as a kid? I'm sure it's one of your picks.
It's one of my picks, yeah.
But we could start off. But is there any movie you kind of just remembering watching as a kid?
The one that I always remember watching, and this is true for many holidays, is the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Big fan of Snoopy and Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang. I love
Sure.
all those things. And for almost every holiday where there's a Snoopy movie, I always watch it. And
Yeah.
a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is no other. So that is just it's one of my favorites, and
Oh, yeah.
that's why I have it on my list. Do you want me to just kind of jump right into that, or do you want to go with your childhood?
I'll go with mine, but
Okay.
on a side note of Charlie Brown, I like all of those movies. They always have like something about it feels real. It's something like melancholy about it.
Yeah,
And I think it came out.
comforting. I find them comforting.
Yeah, there was a Peanuts movie that came out in 2015 that's like computer animated.
It was
and
great.
It's like I feel like it doesn't get enough love. That movie's so cute. It's like
I love that movie.
20 minutes, not even.
Yeah, it's quick,
great.
but it was fun.
Yeah. But mine, PJ, I just remember it being after the Thanksgiving Day parade was
Okay.
March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Yeah, that was
Laura Hardy.
Yeah,
I feel like I used to always love that as a kid, and like I always liked like the costumes, and like as a kid I thought that was real. Like to see the three little pigs, and
yeah.
and then one of them turns into sausage. I think that's how the plot is, right? And I forgot the name of the villain of the movie. He's like, I don't know, like the mayor went bad. I don't know,
Right.
I can't remember, but and of course you couldn't wait. I remember like there'd be commercials. You'd be like, ugh. And I just remember it'd be like I think it would end at like 1 o'clock, whatever, 2:30, whatever it is. I just remember like you couldn't wait for the ending when all the soldiers finally came out. Because actually, I'm recalling now. I didn't really do too much research, but I'm pretty sure the name of the original title of the movie is Babes in Toyland.
Babes in
right?
Toyland. Yep.
And I think they renamed it that. But yeah, that movie's. I think it's still on. Who knows? Maybe not.
Yeah.
After
It probably is. I mean, it's probably
Mhm.
on like Channel 11, one of those weird stations
Yes.
that have like a movie of the week sort of thing.
Yep.
It's probably on something like that.
Yep. But I love that movie. I love all the costumes and the toys in it, and
It's another movie it's Christmassy in a way, and
Yes.
Thanksgiving is the start
Yes.
of Christmas. Like for me, Christmas is not just one day; it's the whole season.
Correct.
And that really is one of those movies that kicks it into Christmas season.
So, Mr. PJ, what's your first choice?
So I'll go with Charlie Brown Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
which I'm taking some liberties calling it a movie. It's really a TV special. It's only like 30 minutes long.
Of course, yes.
But it's not like it's a TV show. It's a short film, short cartoon. I just love these movies. They're very comforting to me. I don't know if it's because I watched them all as a kid, so it kind of brings you back to that time. But like you said, they're not overdone. There's not a sadness. I don't want to say a sadness to these movies, but a calmness and and it's just like when you watch them, they're not overly hyped. It's just easy to watch, very relaxing. They're well written. The animation, though it's old, it doesn't feel outdated in a way. Like it's timeless.
It's charming, yeah.
Charming is a great word, yeah. And I love the plot. They're going to their grandparents' house, and then Peppermint Patty invites herself over, and then all the other friends invite themselves over to Thanksgiving, and they wind up making it work, right? So that they can all spend Thanksgiving together. There's a scene with Snoopy and Woodstock have their own Thanksgiving, and they break the wishbone, and I always thought it was kind of funny that they break the wishbone because he's a bird, so I feel like eating another bird. I always kind of laugh at that.
Cannibalistic, yeah.
The soundtrack on these movies, there was always like it's memorable, like when you hear the music and stuff. The voice actors, I couldn't tell you a single name of a person who does one of the voices of these because to me, they just sound like Charlie Brown. They just sound like Linus. They just whoever does them, that's who they are to me. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like an all-star cast of people. I think it's just
I think a lot of it
to me it's just them. You might as well credit Charlie Brown as Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
And recently they've taken all of these Charlie Brown movies and they stopped putting them on TV. I don't know if you know this.
I think
they're
Apple
all
has
Apple
that.
TV now.
Yeah,
which is fine because I have Apple TV and I can watch them, and I do. But I kind of feel like that does a disservice to everyone, honestly, because these are movies that you could watch with your family. You kids can enjoy them, adults can enjoy them. I feel like this is sort of how like these things die out when you don't have easy access to it. A kid's not going to look for Charlie Brown if they don't know who Charlie Brown is.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is how characters die out. only adults are going to be looking for. You got to be of a certain age to really,
Right.
I guess, appreciate Peanuts. And
Yeah.
I feel like not having them on TV free to watch for everyone is a mistake.
I agree. I agree.
Apple has done some great things with Charlie Brown. They had like a Snoopy in Space cartoon that was pleasant to watch, and they've done great things with the property. But I feel like these holiday movies, if they're not on TV because Apple owns them, they should be putting them back on TV.
Yeah, or they should just hype it up like this Friday. It's going to be on TV, and then like if you watch, wait for a special code, you get like a discount for like
something.
I mean, you can make a
or
lot
just
of money
let
like
people
that.
Stream it for free on the app. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can
well,
put
that's what I mean.
commercials, just
Yeah,
like nothing else might be free on the app, but let the Christmas and the Thanksgiving and the Halloween and all the other movies, let those stream for free on Apple TV around the holidays or something like that. I don't know. That's what I think.
I agree. Give those things will come back to you. I don't run a business, but I feel like it will come back to you. Those kind of customer relations type stuff. But yeah, great pick. For me, I'm sure it's on your list too. I just remembered as a kid, like you said, Thanksgiving kind of sets off the Christmas season. So I just remember it being after football. They would hype it up. Be like, stay tuned for Home Alone, And I just, and for some of our longtime listeners, I love opening credits, and this movie just has, John Williams score, the dun, 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 and the house light goes on in the Home Alone section. But I mean, and we can go on how good this movie is, but like in terms of like watching it, like when it's at night, this is a movie you watch at night. There's certain movies you watch during the day, like maybe watch March the Wooden Soldiers, even like Charlie Brown Christmas. Charlie Brown, excuse me, Thanksgiving. You gotta watch
it's a nighttime
it at night.
movie.
Yeah,
I agree.
And you got to put that on. So, but yeah, Home Alone just kind of has that vibe and like it's just everything. And look, I'm sure all of our listeners have seen this movie dozens of times, but that movie, just something about it really feels really right on Thanksgiving Day. Like I don't know what it is. Like I said, it's the Christmas, and because the first half of that, more than 3/4 of that film is really more like family, and only until the end it gets a little bit wacky, which is a good wacky. I love that kind of slapstick comedy, but the first 3/4 is very like family and him missing his mom, blah blah blah. So, yeah, what a pleasure to watch.
I would also say Home Alone 2.
Oh yeah,
watch them both. Watch them both back to back.
Yep, I was just about to say that. Yeah, because Home Alone, I think we talked about this last year too. Like it's really hard to pick a favorite because like some days, like I think it's just depends what day I wake up. Like I think today I like 2 better, but I mean both are great, and even Home Alone 2, especially watching if you watch the parade and then later on the evening you watch Home Alone 2 because it takes place in New York.
In New York. That's why I say Home Alone 2 is a great one.
Just
also
feels like so. Like in sequence with it, it just feels like a natural transition. So yeah, Home Alone, man, damn. Chris Columbus. Actually, I'll give you a little preview. Chris Columbus also directed one of these other films I'm going to talk about.
I think I have a guess as to what it might be, but I don't know if you have my second movie on your list. But it is such a great movie. It's from 2013. Freebirds.
No, I have not seen it.
Freebirds is an animated movie.
Right. I knew that. I knew it was animated. Yeah.
And it's like one of those. It's like not like a 2D cartoon. It's like a CGI cartoon. But the plot of the movie is there's a turkey, and he's afraid of Thanksgiving because everyone eats turkeys on Thanksgiving.
Right.
But he winds up being the turkey that gets pardoned by the president.
Oh.
So now he's like, oh, I don't have to worry about getting eaten, and he does like all this, he's like eating pizza and doing all this other stuff, and I don't know. I just like the idea of a movie about a turkey on Thanksgiving. It's for kids, but it's a cute movie. He eventually wants to save the other turkeys and things like that, and but it's just fun. It's just fun to watch a movie about a turkey on Thanksgiving trying to escape being eaten on Thanksgiving. The cast is actually pretty good. Reggie, the main turkey, is Owen Wilson.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Woody Harrelson is a wild turkey. Amy Poehler is in it as George Takei does a voice. So there's like pretty big name people.
Yeah.
Lending their voice. It didn't take off as like a lot of these animated movies do, and I don't know the reason why, unless it just kind of flew under the radar. I don't know.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Turkeys can fly,
but it was. That's I just like it. I just like it. I think it's a fun movie, and I like two of my movies are cartoons, and I don't. It's just because I like cartoons, I guess. But I mean, if it's Thanksgiving, you should be watching a movie about a turkey and trying to escape eating. It makes sense. It makes sense. I got a turkey behind me. If you're watching the video on YouTube, I got a big turkey.
I think it's right. Tom Turkey, right?
Tom Turkey. Yeah. It's just It's not like an award-winning movie. It's not an Academy Award-winning movie.
Right.
I don't think it has many accolades to its name, but there's no. If you're gonna watch a Thanksgiving movie, do one that makes sense, and to me, this makes sense. So that was my second pick. Not a lot to say about it because it's not a lot. It's like 90 minutes, if that. It's real quick. You fly through it. I said fly.
Yeah.
And it's just cute. It's just a cute, fun little movie you can watch with your kids. Watch by yourself. Yeah, DreamWorks does it too. So the animation is clean.
Yeah,
DreamWorks does, I think, good work, and I'm pretty sure it's a DreamWorks movie. So that was my second pick.
Nice. Yeah. For mine, for those who are watching on YouTube, right? If you see my background photo, it's planes, trains, and automobiles. And actually, out of my list, I really want to highlight. This is the only film that really takes place on Thanksgiving Eve, right? So just to give people the premise of the movie is it's with Steve Martin and John Candy, and Steve Martin just trying to get back to his family for Thanksgiving. He just wants to be there for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
He's like a businessman. So anyway, what happens is his modes of transportation keep failing. So I forgot where he starts off with. Maybe New York, I think. I can't remember. And he has to make it back to, I think, to Chicago. So he needs to get back home. See, the planes are all down. It's like a giant snowstorm. So he wants to rent a car, and all these things keep going wrong. And along the way, he ends up meeting John Candy, who's kind of like this. Like, he keeps tagging along, like, oh, hey, I think he sees him on the plane originally. I haven't seen it in a long time. But I think he sees him on the plane, and then he's gonna try to take a train, and he ends up everywhere he goes, he ends up being there with him. He's in the bathroom, he runs into him on a train, he sits next to him. He's kind of like a leech. He's like, can't get rid of him. So he really wants his privacy. Anyway, it's a comedy, this film, folks, and I really enjoy it. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect film. It's it can be a little slow at times, but I think it really does have a sense of family. It kind of reminds me, I guess, this predates Dumb and Dumber, but kind of like that buddy movie kind of thing. We don't really get those many more. I guess you can count Wolverine and Deadpool, but just really kind of feels like these two knuckleheads are on an adventure just to get back home, and it's good. It has, and of course, like any John Hughes movie, this was directed by him and written by him. He did The Breakfast Club, and actually, I think he even wrote Home Alone.
He did, he did.
So, well, the story at least, and anyway, it has those charming moments, especially towards the end of the film with John Candy and Steve Martin, and it really ends on a nice sentimental note. But there's really, so many funny scenes, and I'm thinking about it now. Other movies I think taken from this, Dumb and Dumber. I think of Tommy Boy with Chris Farley and David Spade. They take a lot from this film, but yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I think I saw it maybe the last time I saw it maybe like 2-3 years ago. So, but yeah, it's funny. And,
I'll tell you what, I haven't watched this movie in forever, but I think now that you're talking about it, I'm probably going to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's one of those movies you just don't think to go back to, but it is a great movie. You mentioned how it's slow at some parts, but I think that's just the era that the movie came out in. A lot of movies around this time sort of were a little bit slower than they are now. They let things breathe in the stories. They
correct.
It's not just like rapid fire jokes all the time. There's more of a plot, more of a story. I think that's why the movies were better back then. People had more of an attention span to sit through a plot. You didn't have to just go from, point to point to point to point as fast as you can until it's over. I think that says something about movies back then.
Agreed.
What is my next one? Let's see. I have a Christmas movie actually as my next one.
Yep.
Because as we said, this is the start of Christmas. Miracle on 34th Street.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because the whole idea of that is, I think everyone knows the plot of the movie. It starts off with the Thanksgiving Day parade and Santa's drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Wait, is this the original, the OG, or the?
I prefer the original, but they remade it, and I think the plot is basically the same.
Yeah.
And they find an old man whose name is Kris Kringle to be Santa because the other guy is drunk, and the movie takes place and it is Santa. But I don't know. I just find, I guess because it takes place with the Thanksgiving Day parade and all this other stuff,
Yeah, of course.
it has a Thanksgiving vibe to it. It is probably like when you think of Christmas movies, like classics.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones of the classic Christmas movies. It's not something I necessarily watch every year. I just think the story is a heartwarming story. I think of all the Christmas movies, for whatever reason, this one captures the Christmas spirit the most for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back to New York again, like you said. Home Alone 2 also in New York and has the right kind of tone for it.
Yep.
I don't know why, and I don't know if it's just because it's the home team. I feel like holiday movies that take place in New York City feel more authentic.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe other people would disagree because they come from the Midwest or they come from wherever.
Right.
They might see it differently. But for whatever reason, for me, New York City is the best backdrop for a holiday movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's a better. Who cares about what's happening on a farm? That's the way I look at it. I just don't care about that stuff. I mean, California, they have like Los Angeles and stuff like that. I don't picture that as a Christmas city.
Yeah. Because it's warm there. It's palm trees. It just takes it out of it.
Right. In order for it to be Christmas, it needs to be New York City. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Outside of that big ass tree on Rockefeller Center, there is no Christmas. And
right.
I still go every year to the city or I try to look at the windows and stuff like that. But that's one of the reasons why I picked this movie is the setting. It takes place after the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The city is the best place for a holiday movie.
I agree. So actually, my next pick, PJ, does not take place in New York City, but it does take place in New Jersey. And it takes place on Thanksgiving Eve.
Okay.
And this is a silly comedy. It's Paul Blart Mall Cop.
I've never bothered to watch that movie. I've always wanted. Never got around to it.
It's cute, man. It's it's an hour and a half. And if you like Kevin James movies, this is basically he plays like a mall security guard. He basically he can't make it into the real like police academy, so he settles for being a
mall cop.
A mall cop, and he takes it very seriously. He's writing out tickets for people strolling too fast in there. Anyway, what happens is there's being a robbery, basically like essentially after the mall closes, and they're gonna steal credit card numbers, whatever it is, and he goes to save the day. So it's kind of like a goof, I guess, on Die Hard. He can save them, and but it takes place on Black Friday, I guess you could say.
Black Friday, yeah.
So or the eve of that. But yeah, it's good, and I think like I said, I don't really have. It's funny because you think about it now. There's not many films that take place on Thanksgiving, and I think it's difficult to it's hard to because you have movies like this, like Paul Blart, it's always going to be centered around, I guess, somewhat around Christmas. I think I can't think of anything besides Planes, Trains, Automobiles where
there are some horror movies and stuff.
But
those don't really count to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're not like big horror movies. They're like C-level horror movies.
Yeah, isn't there one with what's that guy's name? And he's like a pilgrim or something like that.
Yeah.
And chop people up, and I think he puts someone like in an oven or like a
turkey and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Paul, I really recommend it. It's an easy comedy to watch, and that's something you can watch when you're maybe cooking dinner, or you just ate and you want to just watch something right afterwards. It's just so simple to watch, and it's funny, man.
In between eating and waiting for dessert to come out.
Yes,
you put on
exactly.
Something.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's easy to digest. It's simple and it's funny, man. There's some good, just good physical comedy there, and I love it. And if you like Kevin James, you're definitely gonna like it.
Kevin James is completely underrated. I love The King of Queens. That show is amazing.
I've only seen a few episodes, but when I watch it, it makes me laugh. Yeah,
that show is so good. I don't know why he doesn't get more love. I mean, he's done a lot. Don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone dislikes him, but I feel like he's not as big a star as he could have been. Like Adam Sandler is a huge movie guy, and I don't understand why someone like Kevin James isn't as big as Adam Sandler. So I think Kevin James is funnier.
Yeah. I definitely think Kevin James. I feel like now, especially with Adam Sandler and his Netflix deal, a
Yeah.
lot of those movies he just feels so phoned in. It's not even
Yeah.
funny. It's like, my God, bro.
Like they're doing Happy Gilmore too, and it's just I don't know.
If it's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
like the Netflix type of vibe, it's gonna be terrible because those
I
movies are
know. I'm gonna
forgettable.
watch it,
He's
but
just, I feel like they make those movies in a week. Like
it
they
feels
literally,
very rushed. There's never
it
any
just,
thought behind it.
yeah. I mean, everyone feels phoned in.
Yeah.
But I agree. Kevin James, I feel like definitely is trying to really. He doesn't feel tired. He doesn't feel tired of doing comedy. I feel like
Right.
Adam Sandler, he wants to do uncut gems. He wants that, which
Right.
I
I
respect.
get it. I get it. But stick with what you're good at, which is
Mm.
sometimes slapstick humor.
Yeah.
So my last movie on my list
Mm-hmm.
is directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, he's done a lot of good movies, but it's the
Right.
Addams Family Values.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Specifically that one because they go to the summer camp and they have the Thanksgiving play, which I think is very funny. But yeah, Barry Sonnenfeld is. The only reason I bring him up is he's done so many great movies that I don't think people realize.
Did he do The Mummy? Did he do The Mummy?
He did the first Addams, the 1991 Addams Family, and then he did the sequel Addams Family Values. He did Get Shorty. He directed Men in Black, the first one.
Wow.
And the second one, I think. I don't know if you ever watched the movie RV.
No.
But RV was
Is that with Ice Cube?
RV
no, that's with Robin Williams, right?
Robin Williams, yeah, and Jeff Daniels is in it, and it's a very funny movie if you ever get a chance to watch it. Anyway, I like the movies that he's made, so that's just bringing that up. He has made some great movies. Get Shorty is one of my favorite movies of all time. He also directed Wild Wild West, which is not great, but it is a big movie. But Addams Family Values has a great cast. Raul Julia, Angelica Houston, Christopher Lloyd is great as Uncle Fester, and Christina Ricci, who, I mean, that was probably her first big role, right?
Oh yeah,
probably Addams Family and Castle.
Yeah.
And has gone on to become like she's like when you think of horror movies, she's one of the people you think not even horror movies, but like
she's like one of the OG like goth chicks, like Winona Ryder. She's in that realm.
Exactly. and I think this is her best role for Wednesday Addams is Addams Family Values. The whole thing with her in the camp is great, and
that steals the show. She really steals the movie.
She does. She absolutely does. That was basically her movie, and they have the new baby in this one. They have another baby, and they want to kill the baby and all that shit. It's,
I can't remember her name. What's the baby's name?
It was a boy, right? The brother is Pugsley, but I don't remember but that's not the baby. I don't remember the baby's name.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. I knew it was I forgot they're trying to murder the baby.
Yeah, the whole thing about trying to murder the baby is always very funny. She plays Pocahontas. She's the whitest person ever, and she's Pocahontas. It's just very funny.
Don't they end up lighting up like the set on fire?
Yeah. So that's a good Thanksgiving movie for me. So those are my 4.
For mine, PJ, I know you're gonna be you're not gonna like this one. You're gonna dislike it. However, I'll say this: this is one of those things where, for some reason, this film has become just associated with Christmas. I'm going to talk about why I think it's been associated with Christmas and basically kind of this season now. I think it does start in October with the Halloween and all that. It's actually Harry Potter. I
figured that's where you were going to go when you said Chris Columbus earlier.
Yeah. So it's amazing how, I mean, in the movies they do celebrate Christmas. It's not really hype. It's in the background, and I know you're not a big fan of those movies, but I love them. But I think if you are a fan of Harry Potter, I think watching the first one in particular, maybe because they're all kids at that point, it's just something. Hey, it has magic. When we think of Christmas, we think of magic, and I think those movies feel like Christmas. Besides, like there's snippets of Christmas in those films, because it takes place during the school year.
I think it's because it's always winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Harry Potter. It's always snow.
Yep, it's cold. It feels like autumn. Like the leaves are falling down. It really feels like, that season's coming, and I think the
And
Matt's in
Dumbledore
there.
kind of looks a little bit like Santa.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Especially the first Dumbledore. Since you bring this movie up,
mhm.
I prefer the first Dumbledore.
Oh, 100%.
I think
Richard
he was
Harris.
so.
Yeah,
I think he was great, and then he died. So what are you gonna do? And
yeah.
but there was something about that Dumbledore that felt more
He, there was a feeling.
sage-like and
Yes,
more
perfect word.
caring, and just I don't know. There's
Yeah,
something about him. I liked him
yeah, I
better.
agree. I agree. Not that Michael Gambon did a poor job. I just felt like like you said, Richard Harris, his version just felt more. Something about it felt delicate. Like you
Yeah,
said, he felt more like a wizard. Where I felt Gambon just kind of just felt like, can't explain it. For me, I never loved him. I never loved his performance was fine, but
he
I
just
always
wasn't. I can't help but compare him to the first one, and I realize, you know, Richard Harris was not there that long as
yeah.
Dumbledore. What did he do?
They were gonna
One,
get
right?
they were gonna get Ian McKellen, but he
I
didn't want
heard
to do it.
that
He said,
he was
"Look,
already Gandalf, right?
yeah."
He
He goes,
said he
"I
didn't want to
can't
be
be
a.
doing that." Yeah, which I respect.
And honestly, I don't think he would have done as good as as Richard
Oh
Harris
yeah,
either.
no, but I think he would have been better
He
than
might have been. He
yeah,
might have
my
been better for sure. And I understand. I get what happened. What are you going to do? But I really appreciate the first Dumbledore much more. And one of my favorite things in Harry Potter, which is not in the first movie, is Goblet of Fire. When Harry's name is in the cup,
oh
and he
yes,
gets
oh, of
so angry, he's
course.
like, "Harry, did you put your name in the cup?" And he's just like yelling. I cannot imagine that Dumbledore one, Richard Harris,
No
would
way.
have had that reaction.
No way.
Um,
That's really interesting because I know and that's a meme and everything, and they're so funny. And I know I haven't read the books, but I do in the books. It says, you know, um,
Dumbledore like acts
Dumbledore.
calmly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I agree. I wonder if I don't know who. I think with Goblet of Fire, I think that might have been. Oh my God, is it something? I know Chris Columbus did the first two. Then it was Alfonso Cuarón who went on to did. I think it was Mike Newells,
I have
or
no idea.
I think it was. Anyway, he's a pretty accomplished director. He did legit movies. Anyway, I'm curious. If he said, "Hey, do it
Why
like the
that the
aggressively,"
kid? Can you do
or
it
do it
angry?
right, exactly. I'm really curious. Oh, that was Michael Gambon's call. Um, but yeah, I think in particular for the first film, really has something about it that has like a Christmas vibe. It feels it. The intro, like I always say, the opening credits and all that jazz. It really has that Christmas feel.
Yep.
And then if you're a fan of those films, it's definitely a good one to watch that eve on that particular evening, Thanksgiving Eve. But PJ, I'm gonna ramble off some other ones, and I just want to
Okay.
see if you agree or disagree. Like
Okay.
I'll say this: watch or not watch on Thanksgiving Eve.
Okay. Watch or not watch on Thanksgiving Eve. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm not Thanksgiving Eve. I'm sorry, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Okay.
Thanksgiving. Sorry. Um, I'm thinking of Christmas Eve. That's why. All right. So first one, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. Watch. I would watch
Watch.
that one.
Watch it. Okay. We're starting off easy here. Okay.
Okay.
hmm I don't know if you ever saw this one. It's called Violent Night. It's with the guy
I
from Stranger Things.
love that movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
great.
become an instant classic for me for Christmas.
Yep.
But I think I would save that one for closer to Christmas and not on
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
okay.
But definitely
Okay.
watch it somewhere during the Christmas season.
Yes. Okay. How about this? Die Hard. The first one.
The first one, again, watch it during the Christmas season, but I don't know if I'd put that one on for Thanksgiving. I think that one, for me, that's like a midweek after work, and I'm still kind of in the Christmas spirit, but
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yes.
That's when I would watch that.
hmm How about Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, absolutely on Thanksgiving. That's a good
Mhm.
Thanksgiving
Yeah.
movie.
That one feels like it because it feels like it has like a Black Friday vibe. He has like
Yeah.
a toy,
Yep.
he has like a Timber
Yep.
Man. Um,
Absolutely.
that's one of those things. Did they ever make a cartoon or maybe a comic book of Turbo Man? Like I feel like that would be something like, hey, we gotta make money out of this.
I don't
You
think
know?
they ever did. They should have, but I don't think
Yeah.
they ever did.
hmm I'm actually just thinking now. I'm curious. You know, like for some reason, I think of Buzz Lightyear when I think of Turbo Man. For some reason,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has I don't know that vibe.
Yep.
Um, how about Mickey's Christmas Carol? That's basically Charles Dickens and it's with Uncle Scrooge and all that stuff.
Mickey's Christmas Carol is good any day ever.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
so
love that
good. So
movie. I agree.
absolutely.
hmm Okay, so these are some of the ones. These last two are a little bit wacky. So the first one is it actually takes place on Thanksgiving, but
Okay.
I'm just curious if you even like the movie. It's actually Pauly Shore's son-in-law. Uh,
I have
which,
not seen Pauly Shore's son-in-law, but without seeing it, I will say undoubtedly to watch it because I think Pauly Shore is great. I love all of
yeah.
Shore movies.
Hmm.
That's another guy that gets hate that shouldn't. That dude,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
Weasel, he's great. I love
Yeah.
every one of his movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like watch Encino Man also, and also watch Biodome. Watch them all. Have yourself a nice little marathon of Pauly Shore movies because
Yeah.
they're all amazing.
Yeah, for folks who don't know, Son-in-Law takes place on Thanksgiving. It's with Carla Gugino.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
played like I think it was Sally Jupiter and like Watchmen, and
yeah.
she's really pretty. She's all different movies. Great actress. Anyway, that's like her best friend. I think she's gonna get married to a different guy, but she brings Pauly Shore there to kind of be a distraction, like basically postpone the engagement. She doesn't want to
Right.
get engaged, so she brings him along. And it's if you've seen Pauly Shore movie, it's him, acting flamboyant and
Yep.
nuts, and just acting crazy. And um, but yeah, it's like a simple film. If you like Mallrats, like you're gonna dig that. And my last one, PJ, this is gonna be totally out of the blue, but for some reason, it's another Schwarzenegger film. I don't know
Okay.
why. It just feels like the right thing to do to watch on Thanksgiving.
Wait, let me
It's
try and guess it first and see if
okay.
I'm guessing the one
Okay.
you're thinking of because this is a movie that I sometimes do watch during holidays and I don't know why. It's Terminator 2.
No, I was thinking of that, but for some reason this movie, I don't know what it is. That's a good guess. You want to take one more? It is science fiction. I'll give you that.
Total Recall.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's the opening credits, but something feels like you eat a big dinner, you just had your dessert, you're full. Maybe you're gonna have your dessert wine or your beer, and you just want to watch like Arnold Schwarzenegger going like, "I can't be the air," like like I don't know what it is, man. But the first Total Recall, just when I say first, they
They
remade it
remade it, but
like
the
a
good
decade ago.
good one, the good Total
Yes,
Recall.
but yeah, I was just curious what your thought was. Okay. But yeah, so we're recommending to watch that gets to watch on Thanksgiving Eve.
Absolutely, it gets a watch for me.
Okay. So folks, the last thing I want to ask PJ about is because like I said, there's not many Thanksgiving films like that actually take place on Thanksgiving or really kind of center around it. So, PJ, I'm just curious, what kind of Thanksgiving movie would you like to see be made? Like another comedy? When I say adventure, that'd be more of like the planes, trains, and
Hmm.
automobiles type vibe. I think of that. I know it's a comedy, but that's has like momentum
So,
to it,
yeah.
or horror, or action. What do you feel? Hmm.
So I've had an idea for a
Hmm.
movie for Thanksgiving for quite some time,
Yep.
and in my mind,
Right.
it's a DC movie,
Hmm.
um, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I think a superhero movie on set on Thanksgiving or in the holidays at all makes
Right.
so much sense. There's been so many comic books about superheroes during the holidays and
Mm.
Superman like bringing in the image of Superman carrying the sled or putting in a
Right.
big tree or whatever. But I think taking cues from like a planes, trains, and automobiles, something like that.
Yeah.
I really think a lighthearted movie with
Hmm.
like Superman and Batman trying to
Right.
save the holidays or like trying to stop the Joker and Lex Luthor from
Right.
ruining like the Metropolis Thanksgiving Day
Yep.
parade or something like
Hmm.
that. I, it might work better as an animated movie.
I was just about to say.
It might work really good as like an animated movie. Uh, I think that would be something that people would really like. Or if you wanted to take it out of the DC world, you could do it with Marvel. And you know how they did that Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special and it
Yeah.
had the
Yeah. Yeah.
actors from the movies?
Hmm.
But for me, that Guardians of the Galaxy one fell very short. I didn't particularly love that one. But that's kind of what gave me the idea. Like the idea of taking these heroes, getting them, live action, I think would be great, but I could see it being more as an animated. Just having these two heroes have to team up. Superman and Batman work great because one is so light and one is so dark.
Yep.
To
Hmm.
stop the Joker or something from ruining that parade, I think would
Yeah.
make a great holiday tradition for people to watch every year. So that would be my idea for a holiday movie.
Yeah, and I can just picture it now, just like the animation. Like I picture like Harley Quinn and him like dressed up as like a pilgrim and like a Native American
Right,
kind of thing. Just
exactly.
something totally like idiotic that in my mind like Mark Hamill just really hamming it up, and
Yep.
they don't take it too seriously, like, and you just have it like you can even do a callback of the balloons like from like Batman 89 and
Yeah.
have them have some kind of toxic laughing gas. There's something off the wall, you know. I agree. Yeah. Or sure, I was maybe even like a Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
picture like Tobey Maguire pulling it off, or Andrew Garfield. I cannot picture
Can't
little
picture
Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland.
It's a little too childish for me. His
Yeah.
movies are fun, but I think for that kind of film,
Especially since Spider-Man lives in New York,
yeah,
again, having to stop the Green Goblin from attacking the parade.
yeah,
The idea of a superhero having to help the parade and
hmm
save Santa or something like that. Just
yeah.
there's a comic book called I forget what it's called now, but it's basically Santa. I think it's Silent Night, but it's Knight, and
Ah,
it's the superheroes teaming up with Santa to save
oh,
Christmas.
cool.
Like there's just so many times in the comics, iconic comic books about
hmm
superheroes having to save the holidays, and I don't know why it's not a movie yet. Again, it could be a live action, you can make it work for sure,
Yeah,
or it could be animated, but why not?
yeah. No, I agree. For me, I would love to see a comedy. Honestly, I think that's you kind of want that vibe.
Hmm.
And this is the ones I think of. I know I talked about this in the past. Um, I do enjoy those movies. The Knives Out.
Yeah, yeah.
The Ryan. I love the first one's really great. Second one is
I
it's
haven't seen the
fine.
second one yet. That's what,
It's
Glass
fine.
Onion or something like that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. But anyway, I feel like you could do like a murder mystery that takes place at like Thanksgiving dinner. I
At
think it could
Thanksgiving
work.
dinner, I could see that.
And,
Almost like
and
a Clue.
yes, and I also think of like maybe you could maybe there's a writer out there and they could just smack all these things together. But I picture like Ben Still. I think like Meet the Parents, like him having like to come over for like for dinner and getting really stressed out, like some kind of
Yeah.
carol like that. And my last other comedy would be like, I can't believe I know there's been segments like Jingle All the Way of like people getting a craze for toys, but it should be like a period piece, take place
Hmm.
in the 90s, and like it's got to be about like you're eating dinner at Thanksgiving and then you're suiting up for Black Friday, and like just you make it like slapstick, you make
Yeah.
it like and then I just picture a whole montage of like a Christmas song, like you know I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, and people are just wrestling each other like in a Walmart. People are breaking TV sets over each other's heads. Someone's like has like a Furby
Yeah.
like in a chokehold. You know what I mean? Like just really like off the wall. And I feel like I can't believe no one has done that. Like I made a movie about like Black Friday where like you just
Right.
so much of it. You could have all kinds of characters in it. A really good movie that just has a bunch of wacky people. So
Speaking of Black Friday, two
mhm,
two things. One is a question, and then one is a
right.
comment.
hmm
So I'll start with a question because we both worked in retail during
Oh
Black
yeah.
Friday. I was at
Ugh.
Target, you were at Kmart, right? So
Yeah.
did you hate working Black Friday or did you like working Black Friday?
Um. Luckily for me, I all my jobs I always requested never to work cashier. I
Okay.
would beg.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't as bad. I remember I think when I worked at Kmart, I had to get there at like 6 in the morning,
Hmm.
for people to come. It wasn't really too crazy. This was like the dying days of like Kmart. So I think maybe 10 years prior would have been more mayhem, but it wasn't really too bad. When I worked at BJ's Wholesale Club, though,
Yep.
Black Friday was insane. And I worked in the
Yep.
bakery department, and people are like, well, what are people buying at the bakery? And like on Thanksgiving, the day after,
I know.
yeah,
Why was it so
people
busy?
people just I don't know what it was. Maybe they just like people like we have leftovers. I want more pumpkin pie because it was so good the night before, or I want more cookies, or it was crazy, man. It was packed.
Like,
It
how many
was
muffins do I need to make? I don't understand. I just felt like, yeah, I agree.
yep.
BJ's was probably worse than for me than working at Target was. But I didn't hate working on Black Friday and Target when I was at Target. I don't know
Yep.
why. I felt like the day went faster, and I just felt like despite the fact that so many people were in there, you could never keep the store looking clean anyway because it was
Oh
such a
no
disaster.
way.
That it was such an easy day. Like you sat
Mhm.
around, it didn't matter. The store was going to be ransacked and you weren't going to be able to fix it.
Yep.
So you really didn't have to do anything until the end of the night when you put things back together. I felt like it was an easy day to work. And now everyone's always like, oh, these poor people that have to work on Black Friday, it must be a nightmare. I don't know. I mean, it might be different now than it was when we were there. It's been a minute. But I didn't hate working on Black Friday, so I was just curious how you felt about it.
Yeah, I think when it gets a little messed up, if you have to work Black Friday, is when they do like the store opens at midnight. Like that's messed up. Like come on, just open up at 6 a.m. Like all right, this way this person
that I agree.
Work there.
That part does. If you're making people come in at midnight to start dealing with the madness, I can understand that being awful for the workers. But just working during the day, I actually thought it was easier than most days.
Yeah, no, I know what I agree. Yeah.
So I was just curious your thought. And then my only other Black Friday comment is a bit of a shameless plug. But Cool Kids Comics and Toys is having our Black Friday / 1 year anniversary sale. It's going to be from, let me look at the calendar here, November 29th, which is Black Friday, through December 1st, which is the Sunday. So that whole weekend, for anyone listening, our Black Friday sale will be pretty good. We're going to have 50% off on back issues and sets and graphic novels. We're going to have sales on all the statues. We're going to have sales on all the toys. We're going to have some surprise sales, things like that. I don't know about Doorbusters so much because what kind of Doorbuster am I going to have here? But yeah, just wanted to plug it. If you're listening and you're local to the area and you're looking for some Christmas gifts, Funkos are always a good gift. We have them on sale. We do have some packaged items for gifts. So hey, if you're in the area of East Meadow on Black Friday or that entire weekend, stop by Cool Kids Comics and Toys and check us out.
Yeah, sounds good. And folks, just to let you know, the term Black Friday does not mean a negative in terms of it being pandemonium. Black Friday is a business term. So when a business is in the red, that means the business is not doing well. It's in the red zone. So it's basically in the danger zone. So Black Friday means it helps get in the black, which means they're making money. So it basically has essentially saved a lot of businesses from going out of business. So that's where the term
Black Friday is always Target used to call it Green Friday because all the money they made was Green Friday. Saturday is Small Business Saturday, which I always, even before I had a store, would like to support. By going to the comic book shop that I used to shop in or other small businesses. Now it means a lot more to me than it did even when before, because now I have a small business, right? I think you're gonna find some nice gifts in a small business, whether it's mine or anyone else's, a record store that's not Newberry Comics or FYE or a comic book shop that's like mine and not a big conglomerate bookstore, things like that. I don't know. Support small businesses, especially during the holidays. For me, I have a second job that I just live my regular life. Plus, I have the store, so it's not so bad for me. But a lot of folks with small businesses, they really could use the help, especially with the way the economy is going. So if you find yourself near a small business and you're looking for a Christmas gift for somebody, maybe give them a couple of shekels instead of throwing it at Walmart. Just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, folks, we are thankful for you for listening and following us along. If you're longtime listeners, if you're new listeners, thanks for listening, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Same table.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Boys and girls, lunchtime is over. For more information, visit their website at coolkidslunchtable.podbean.com. Follow the boys on all social media platforms. Just search Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast. Now get to class before you get detention.